Live from New Delhi, you're watching TD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Big boost awaits already strong bilateral ties as US Vice President Vance to arrive with family in Delhi today to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the evening. Trump hopes for a Russia-Ukraine peace deal this week, promises big business for both sides if a truce is inked. Ukraine asks Russia to halt strikes on civilian targets for 30 days. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, alleged to have shared March 15th Yemen strike plans in one more message group chat that included his wife, brother and personal lawyer. Earlier leaks saw heads rolling at the Pentagon. Israel says professional failures led to killings of 15 Gaza paramedics and other rescue workers. Deputy commander fired for providing inaccurate report. El Salvador suggests a prisoner swap with Maduro for Venezuela deportees. Proposes swapping 252 US deported Venezuelans for equal number of political prisoners held by Venezuela. And on to the details now. US Vice President Vance will begin his 4-day official visit to India from today. He would be accompanied by his wife Usha Vance, their children and senior members of the US administration. This will be Vice President Vance's first visit to India. During the visit, he will be meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. The Vice President and his delegation will have other engagements in Delhi and are also scheduled to visit Jaipur and Agra. The visit will provide an opportunity for both sides to review the progress in bilateral relations and the implementation of the outcomes of the India-US joint statement issued on 13th of February 2025 during the visit of the Prime Minister to the US. The two sides will also exchange views on regional and global developments of mutual interest. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a 2-day visit to Saudi Arabia on Tuesday at the invitation of the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Prime Minister Modi will be welcomed in Jeddah by Crown Prince himself. The two leaders will co-chair the second meeting of the Strategic Partnership Council. Also, several MOUs between the two sides are expected to be signed after the bilateral talks.
Bolstering defence and economic ties will be the key focus for Prime Minister Modi when he comes calling on Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman will receive Prime Minister Modi here in Jeddah, and the two leaders will co-chair the second meeting of the Indo-Saudi Arabia Strategic Partnership Council.
This will be Prime Minister Modi's first visit to the kingdom during his third term as Prime Minister, though the Prime Minister has previously visited Saudi Arabia twice in 2016 and 2019.
The visit is important also on account of the obvious significance of Saudi Arabia as a strategic partner for India. You're aware of the salience that this relationship has for India's energy security. Saudi Arabia hosts a very large Indian expatriate community, possibly the second largest expatriate community of its kind anywhere in the world. Saudi Arabia is a leading voice in the Islamic world and is increasingly playing an important role in regional developments. And therefore, from all of these perspectives, the visit provides an opportunity to build on the already strong relations with this strategic partner.
The visit would see signing of several memoranda of understanding between the two sides in various sectors, including energy.
We signed the memorandum of understanding in the field of electrical interconnections and green and clean hydrogen and supply chains. The electricity grid interconnection MOU is something on which work is expected to start imminently in terms of a study to lay out the feasibility of this connection, but we see the possible agreements between the two countries on clean hydrogen as another very important trade-linked initiative under this.
Apart from the bilateral aspect of the relationship, the Russia-Ukraine war will be a significant area of discussion between the two leaders. The ongoing tensions in West Asia and concerns over Houthi attacks on commercial shipping are likely to figure in the talks. During his two-day visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also visit a factory in Jeddah and interact with Indian workers there.
Given that Saudi Arabia is home to a 2.7 million strong Indian diaspora, the talks would focus on how to increase the participation of Indian workers in Saudi Arabia's economy. The Prime Minister shall also be visiting a factory to meet Indian workers here. The talks would also focus on how Saudi Arabia could increase the quota of Hajj pilgrims from India. With my colleague Neeraj Singh and cameraman Saurabh Bakshi, this is Amrit Pal Singh for DD India in Jeddah.
And today, on the occasion of 17th Civil Services Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address civil servants at around 11 a.m. IST in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi will also confer the Prime Minister's Awards for Excellence in Public Administration. Prime Minister has always encouraged civil servants across India to dedicate themselves to the cause of citizens, be committed to public service and strive towards excellence in their work. This year, 16 awards will be given by the Prime Minister in the categories of holistic development of districts, aspirational blocks program and innovation to civil servants. They will be recognized for work done for the welfare of common citizens through this. And Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is also on an official visit to the USA. Ambassador of India to the United States of America, Vinay Mohan Quadra, along with other officials and the Indian diaspora settled in San Francisco, welcomed the minister at San Francisco International Airport. Well, in San Francisco, the Finance Minister will deliver a keynote address at the Hoover Institution at the Stanford University on laying the foundations of Hegseth Bharat 2047, followed by a fireside chat session. Sitharaman will also interact with top CEOs from top information technology firms based in San Francisco. Also, she will participate in an event featuring Indian diaspora in San Francisco and interact with the Indian community. She will then visit Washington, D.C., where she will participate in the spring meetings of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. On the sidelines of the spring meetings in Washington, D.C., the minister will hold bilateral meetings with her counterparts from several countries. And from the US, Sitharaman will visit Peru on 26th, where she will lead an Indian delegation of officials from the Ministry of Finance and business leaders, highlighting the strengthening bilateral economic and trade relations between the two nations. And moving on, the Indian Air Force participated in Exercise Desert Flag 10, a premier multinational air combat exercise in the United Arab Emirates. The IAF is fielding MiG-29 and Jaguar aircraft in the exercise. Exercise Desert Flag is a multinational exercise being hosted by the UAE Air Force with participating contingents from the Air Forces of Australia, Bahrain, France, Germany, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Republic of Korea, Turkey, UAE, United Kingdom and the United States, in addition to the Indian Air Force. Well, the exercise is scheduled to take place between 21st of April to 8th of May 2025. The aim of the exercise is to undertake complex and diverse fighter engagements with exchange of operational knowledge and best practices with some of the most capable air forces in the world. And in a recent update, Jammu and Kashmir's Ramban district has experienced a devastating cloudburst which has claimed 3 lives till now, as per the officials. As of now, rescue operations are underway as authorities search for survivors. Heavy rains have triggered flash floods in Dharamkund village and more than 40 houses were damaged, but 10 are completely destroyed. Also, despite ongoing rainfall and repeated cloudbursts, police team managed to rescue over 100 residents from affected regions. Several vehicles were also swept away by an overflowing stream, adding to the mounting damage across the region. Also, all schools and colleges across Ramban would remain shut on Monday, April 21st because of the inclement weather conditions. The Jammu and Kashmir District Administration issued a red alert in Riazi amid rising water levels in River Chenab. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Turkey bans elective C-sections in private hospitals without medical need, sparking backlash. India's Arya Bose and Rudraksh Patil clinched silver medal at ISSF World Cup in Lima, capital of Peru. And Lagos celebrates Afro-Brazilian heritage with Carnival.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and moving on, hoping for peace, Ukraine has proposed that Russia abandon drone and missile strikes on civilian infrastructure for at least 30 days. US President Trump came out with a new startling announcement on Sunday regarding the Russia-Ukraine peace deal. Early on Friday, Trump had said that he would end US efforts to halt the Russia-Ukraine conflict unless the two sides moved towards an accord. Well, United States Special Envoy to Russia and Ukraine, General Keith Kellogg, said on Sunday that President Donald Trump's team will return to London this week for ceasefire talks in Ukraine, but a NATO membership was off the table. Kellogg also said that a minerals deal was part of the solution for a comprehensive ceasefire and permanent peace deal. And the apparent failure to observe even an Easter ceasefire shows how hard it will be for US President Donald Trump to clinch a lasting peace deal. On social media, Ukraine's Zelensky proposed a halt to any strikes using long-range drones and missiles on civilian infrastructure for a period of at least 30 days. He made a similar proposal for 30 days peace at the beginning of the weekend in response to Putin's announcement of the Easter truce. Earlier, Russia and Ukraine blamed each other on Sunday for breaking a one-day Easter ceasefire declared by President Vladimir Putin, with both sides accusing the other of hundreds of attacks and the Kremlin saying there was no order for an extension. Russia, which has called the ceasefire talks difficult, accused Ukraine of breaching the truce. Moscow said it had repelled Ukrainian assaults and accused Kyiv of launching hundreds of drones and shells, causing civilian casualties. And the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, shared details of a March attack on Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis in a message group on the social media platform Signal. Reported by the New York Times on Sunday, the group included his wife, brother and personal lawyer, which has raised questions about Secretary Hegseth's use of an unclassified messaging system to share highly sensitive security details. The New York Times reported that Hegseth shared flight schedules for the March 15th strikes in a Signal chat that included close personal contacts. The information mirrors details previously leaked in a separate chat that mistakenly included the Atlantic's editor-in-chief. Hegseth's wife has also reportedly attended meetings with foreign military officials. The leak investigation has led to the removal of advisor Dan Caldwell from the Pentagon and placed two other officials on administrative leave. And the Israeli military has concluded an investigation into the killing of 15 Palestinian emergency responders in Gaza, citing professional failures and breaches of orders. A field commander will be dismissed and a deputy commander reprimanded for their roles in the incident. The military claims soldiers mistakenly believed they faced a threat from enemy forces, but the Palestine Red Crescent has disputed the findings, calling them full of lies. The incident occurred on March 23rd when medics and rescue workers responded to distress calls near Rafah, sparking international condemnation and concerns about possible war crimes. And tensions between U.S. and Yemen have further escalated after the new U.S. airstrikes on the Yemeni capital Sana'a killed at least 12 people and wounded 30. The U.S. military has been carrying out almost daily attacks for the past month, saying it was targeting the Iran-backed Houthi terrorists to stop attacks on international shipping in the Gulf. U.S. strikes on the Ras Issa oil port on Thursday killed at least 80 people and injured 150. The Houthis said they started missile attacks in solidarity with Hamas. U.S. air strikes started in January 2024 but have been stepped up since President Donald Trump took office this year. And Israel's government cancelled visas for 27 French left-wing lawmakers and local officials 2 days before they were to start a visit to Israel and the Palestinian territories. The action came only days after Israel stopped 2 British members of parliament from the governing Labour Party from entering the country. It also came amidst diplomatic tensions after President Emmanuel Macron said France would soon recognize a Palestinian state. Macron has in turn sought to pressure Netanyahu over conditions in Gaza amid the Israel-Hamas war. Israel's Interior Ministry said visa for the 27 had been cancelled under a law that allows authorities to ban people who could act against the state of Israel. And El Salvador President Nayib Bukele proposed sending 252 Venezuelans deported from the U.S. and imprisoned in his country to Venezuela in exchange for taking political prisoners held by Venezuela. The Salvadoran leader did not say whether the prisoners would be incarcerated again upon an exchange. Bukele also mentioned nearly 50 detainees of other nationalities, including U.S., German and French citizens, as part of the proposed exchange. Last month, the administration of President Donald Trump deported at least 200 Venezuelans from the United States to El Salvador, accusing them of being members of the criminal gang. The U.S. is paying El Salvador $6 million to detain the migrants in its high-security terrorism confinement center. The Venezuelan government has said it has no political prisoners and that imprisoned people have been convicted of crimes. However, non-governmental organizations claim that more than 800 people are detained for political reasons. And Chad's military junta on Sunday signed a peace accord with armed groups in the north of the country who launched an uprising over gold deposits in the region. Government mediator Saleh Kebzabu signed the accord with 2 groups that had been fighting in the Miski region of the Bitsti province bordering Libya. Fighters from the Chadian Defense and Security Forces and the Miski Self-Defense Committee had battled the National Army in 2019-2020 over the exploitation of gold mines reputed to have major deposits. Under the deal, all mining permits for the Miski region have been cancelled and all mining activity suspended for a new survey to be carried out. Miski Self-Defense Committee forces have prevented government officials from entering the region for several years. Other accords in 2019 and 2023 have broken down and not been applied. Committee President Jimit Chava said that the group had confidence in the new deal. And Turkey has imposed a ban on elective caesarean section births at private healthcare facilities without a medical justification. The move, which has sparked a furious response from opposition politicians and rights groups, came after a heated debate in Turkey over how women should give birth. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has been pushing hard for women to have so-called natural births. In January, Erdogan declared 2025 would be the year of the family in a bid to address Turkey's declining fertility rate, which hit a historic low of 1.51 in 2023. Erdogan has repeatedly suggested that women have at least 3 children. And some sports news now. India's Arya Bose and Rudraksh Patil clinched a silver medal in the 10-meter air rifle mixed team event at the ISSF World Cup in Lima, capital of Peru. The Indian pair lost a tightly contested final 11-17 to the Norwegian duo of John Herman Haig and Janet Dustad on Sunday, settling for a well-fought silver. Earlier, Rudraksh Patil had endured a forgettable outing in the individual event. Despite qualifying in the 3rd place, the former world champion was eliminated earlier after an error in the finals. The 20-year-old bounced back strongly in the team event alongside Arya Bose to deliver another medal for India. And India's Anahat Singh and Veer Chotrani have qualified for the World Squash Championship after winning their respective finals at the Asian qualifiers in Kuala Lumpur. Anahat beat Hong Kong China's Toby Say 3-1 in the final. The Indian squash player didn't drop a single game in the Asian qualifiers before the finals, while Veer Chotrani defeated local favourite Amish Raj Chandran 3-0 in the final to seal his berth. 17-year-old Anahat Singh will be India's lone representative in women's single at the World Squash Championship, scheduled in Chicago from May 9th to 17th. Chotrani will join compatriots Ramit Tandon, Abhay Singh and Balavan Sintikumar in the men's single draw. And skipper Rohit Sharma and Suryakumar Yadav slammed half-centuries as Mumbai Indians beat Chennai Super Kings by 9 wickets in an Indian Premier League match in Mumbai. Chasing 177 runs for victory, Rohit Sharma and Suryakumar shared an unbeaten 114-run stand for the 2nd wicket to bring Mumbai Indians over the line with ease. Rohit Sharma notched up 76 runs while Suryakumar scored 68 runs. Ravindra Jadeja was the lone wicket taker for the Super Kings. Earlier, Shivam Dube and Jadeja cracked half-centuries and shared a 79-run partnership for the 4th wicket as Super Kings made 176 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. Dube struck 50 runs off 32 balls, while Jadeja made an unbeaten 53 off 35 deliveries. CSK suffered their 6th loss of the season, leaving the side at the bottom of the points table with just 4 points from 8 games. And thousands of descendants of formerly enslaved people brought the rhythm and color of Brazil's Rio Carnival to the streets of Lagos on Sunday, celebrating the city's Afro-Brazilian heritage through the Fanti Festival. Although smaller in scale than its Brazilian counterpart, the festival preserves their cultural legacy and showcases the vibrant history of Afro-Brazilian descendants in Nigeria. While participants of all ages donned elaborate costumes, with some performing stilt dances and others preparing for a dragon dance, many noted that the carnival serves as a way to keep the memory of their ancestors alive. The festival also highlights the deep historical ties between Brazil and Nigeria, with descendants of enslaved people who returned to Africa after slavery was abolished in Brazil, carrying with them Latin American culture, food and traditions. right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Nipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.